Tupac, he really had an issue with Jay-Z. He really didn't like him then.
Not at all.
I think that if Pac was alive, it would have been a whole different story. And as much money as Jay-Z has, he still hasn't accomplished what Tupac accomplished before he was at 25 years old.
Went in the studio and did a song together, and then them little dudes,
Outlaws.
Yeah,
Outlaws.
They came like as soon as we got there, they came up to Pac talking about, yo.
Big Daddy Kane just dropped a bomb about Jay-Z and Tupac, and nobody saw it coming. Turns out, the story we've been fed for years, it's only half the truth. Everyone knows Kane was the one who gave Jay-Z his first shot. That's facts. Jay used to be part of Kane's crew, jumping on stage mid-set, freestyling while the crowd went wild. But here's where things start getting shady. As Jay-Z's star shot up, Kane's name slowly vanished from the picture, like he was erased from Jay's origin story. And now Kane's finally speaking up, and what he's saying ties right back to Tupac. While Kane was busy opening doors for Jay-Z out east, Pac was lighting up the west, calling out the fakes, throwing punches at the music industry, and yes, even throwing shade at Jay-Z. So what's Kane really trying to say? Did Jay just borrow from him and Pac, or did he build his empire by stepping over the very people who helped him rise? There's more to this than just old school respect. It's looking like there's some real tension underneath. Back in the early 90s, when nobody knew Jay-Z's name, Big Daddy Kane brought him on tour during his Chocolate City run. Jay didn't just tag along, Kane gave him the mic, let him spit freestyles on stage while Kane changed outfits backstage. But Kane didn't stop there. He believed in Jay.
I remember actually having a record deal through a production deal with someone else and recording, and then the next thing you know, someone else on the label blew up.
Recording tracks with him, pushing his demo to major labels, but none of them were buying it. Labels weren't feeling Jay's style back then. Still, Kane never gave up on him. He saw the potential, and he was right. Jay-Z blew up, but here's the part folks don't talk about. Jay's early fast-paced, slick, aggressive flow, that's Kane's DNA all over it. And yet, in Jay's interviews, in his documentaries, in the history he tells, Kane's name is barely there. Like the mentor never existed. In his memoir, Decoded, Jay-Z gives Kane a quick mention, says he learned pacing and stage presence from him. But that's about it. No real shout-out, no deep respect, just a tiny nod, like Kane was some random footnote. And trust, Kane noticed the silence. Then came the line that stirred everything up. On Jay's track Do It Again, he raps, "I've seen the same ish happen to Kane. 3 cuts in your eyebrows trying to wild out."
Jay-Z, I heard that no one really wanted to sign him when you was shopping him around the record labels. Is that true?
Yeah. This was, I want to say, I don't know, 90, 91 maybe. We was, Jay, we recorded some songs, probably about 4 or 5 songs on Jay-Z, and shopped them to several different record labels, and they all passed.
Now hold up. Everyone knows Big Daddy Kane rocked those 3 signature slits in his eyebrows. It was his whole look back in the late 80s and early 90s. That wasn't just style, that was branding. So when Jay dropped that bar, folks started whispering, was this a slick diss at the very man who gave him his first shot? Jay never confirmed it, but people were reading between the lines. Even Angie Martinez made a comment on her radio show, hinting that it sounded like a jab. And just like that, the rumor mill went full throttle. Sure, Kane brushed it off in public, played it cool, but the vibe had already shifted. It felt like respect turned into shade real quick. By the late 90s, Kane's chart presence was fading. New faces were taking over, and Jay was climbing fast. But here's the twist. Jay used to watch Kane from backstage, studying his every move. Jay even admitted that himself. But once Jay built up his hustler, mob boss image, Kane faded into the background. Not because he had to, but maybe because Jay wanted to create his own throne without anyone else in the show.
Hold up. Tupac is a lyricist. See what I'm saying? It's just that he's not one of those lyrical MCs that spit stuff, but his stuff is, he spit deep lyrics that touch your soul.
Now looking back, Kane's asking the hard question. Did Jay cut him out of the picture on purpose? And Kane wasn't the only one. Around the same time, Kane was stepping back. Tupac was stepping up. and he was already blasting the same shady industry tricks from every angle. Now Kane's throwing a spotlight on Pac, hinting that he saw the shift happening early. A new wave was coming in. Less heart, more hype. The era of rappers chasing clout, cash, and power instead of raw substance. And one of the names that kept creeping up in that shift? Jay-Z. Back then, whispers were flying heavy. People were saying Jay-Z felt threatened by Tupac. Why? Because no matter how clever Jay was with his lyrics, he couldn't touch Pac's aura. Pac had that raw, magnetic energy, that untouchable presence you can't fake, can't learn, can't buy. And that made people talk. It didn't stop at rumors either. Before Pac died, there was real tension between him and Jay, straight up beef. And it all flared up when Jay linked up with Biggie to drop shots at the West Coast. Both Jay and Biggie were Bed-Stuy born and bred, and their bond grew strong in the early 90s. By 1996, they teamed up on Brooklyn's Finest, a standout track on Jay's Reasonable Doubt. But that collab, it sparked something dangerous. Irv Gotti, who was in Jay's corner back then, straight up warned him, don't do it. Don't bring Biggie on that track. The East Coast versus West Coast beef was already blazing, and Irv knew this could blow everything up. But Jay didn't listen. See, Pac and Biggie started out cool, real cool, but everything flipped in '94 when Pac got shot 5 times during a robbery at Quad Studios. Pac felt set up, and worse, he believed Biggie and Diddy knew something and never warned him. That felt like betrayal on another level. Biggie always denied being involved, said he didn't know a thing, but from that moment on, it was war. Pac and Big started trading shots in interviews, in songs, and in public. Tension was thick. Then came Who Shot Ya?, Biggie's track that dropped just before Brooklyn's Finest. That song hit different. People thought it was aimed right at Pac, and even though Biggie claimed it wasn't, the timing said otherwise. That's why Irv told Jay to chill, to wait. But Jay went ahead and dropped Brooklyn's Finest anyway. And in it, Biggie threw darts, calling Pac his son and teasing the messy rumors about Faith Evans. It was bold, and it was loud. Pac wasn't staying silent after that. He came right for Jay on tracks like Bomb First, My Second Reply, and Fuck Friends. Fans were hyped, expecting Jay to strike back with his own diss record. But he never got the chance. Just weeks after things heated up, Tupac was gone, fatally shot in a drive-by in Las Vegas. But here's the real plot twist. Jay-Z had already written a diss track for Pac, a vicious response called Scathing. Word is, it went hard. Brutal bars, no filter. But Jay never released it. Supposedly, he held it back out of respect while Pac was still breathing. Didn't want to fan the fire while the West Coast legend was alive. But here's the part most folks don't know. After Pac's death, Jay actually performed the diss at the Apollo live. According to DJ Clark Kent, the track was wildly disrespectful. Jay came out swinging like he had a personal score to settle, like he'd been holding it in for too long, and now that Pac was gone, he could finally unload. So why do it then? Why fire shots when the man couldn't defend himself? A lot of talk has circled for years. People saying Jay actually felt relieved after Pac passed. That deep down, Jay was intimidated by Pac's presence. He knew he couldn't match that energy, that raw, powerful aura that Pac had locked down naturally. Even crazier, Diddy's ex-bodyguard Gene Deal once said Jay was so shook of Pac that he refused to leave his Vegas hotel room for a show, just because Pac and his crew were nearby. That's fear, not strategy. Fans have dragged Jay-Z for never going head-on with Pac while he was alive, only throwing subliminals from the sidelines. But that's exactly what he and the East Coast camp were doing, tossing low-key disses, trying to push Pac's buttons, and they knew Pac, emotional, fiery Pac, would react. He always did. Plenty of rappers from that era say Jay was jealous, not just of Pac's rise, but his magnetic pull. Jay had bars, no doubt, but Pac had that it, the kind of presence that lit up a room and crushed competition without even trying. Even Nas backed this up in an old interview. He told Vibe, "We were kicking it, and he told me that he's better than Biggie. I looked at him like he was crazy. Then he really got crazy and said that Tupac and DMX were not lyricists. I told him that I disagreed with him, that Tupac was the greatest ever, period. But that ain't even the full story." Another reason Jay-Z's been labeled sneaky, he stayed tight with Diddy, even after whispers came out connecting Diddy to the murder of Tupac. That rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and after both Pac and Biggie were gone, Diddy started gassing up Jay publicly, saying he was the one who stepped up and filled their shoes. And now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, all the swirling rumors around Diddy. Jay-Z stayed close to him for years, even while shady stories kept stacking up. But when that explosive Cassie lawsuit dropped in 2023 and shook the industry, suddenly Jay caught a case of selective memory, out here claiming him and Diddy were never even friends. Like what? After all that history, now you're ghosting the guy? So what's really going on behind the curtain? Big Daddy Kane's throwing quiet shade, hinting at betrayal, missed loyalty, and major disappointment. Pac, he warned us about how fake the game could get. And when you look at Jay's moves, the silence, the timing, the carefully played alliances, it starts painting a whole different picture. It's not just about talent anymore. It's about strategy, control, power. Jay didn't just borrow flows. He maneuvered through the game, stepped over mentors, outpaced rivals, and erased names that once helped lift him up. Some say that's just how the business works. But more and more of his industry peers are finally speaking out, saying Jay's legacy ain't just built on hits. It's built on cold, calculated moves and some seriously burned bridges. But what do you think? Was Jay-Z just being smart, playing the game better than anyone else? Or did he cross the line? Did he really turn his back on Big Daddy Kane after Kane helped put him on? Was the jealousy toward Tupac real? And did it push Jay into making shady decisions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I need to know what you think. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Juicy Scoop TV, where we spill it all, no filter.